Yes, my name is Tad Mohammed and I'm a student at Dance School from working class. So today I'm here with a new ChatGPT and topic name is standing up for what's right. So let's go start with the ChatGPT. Hello ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well, thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far?
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next first question is what does the Paris standing up for what's right mean to you and why it is important and security? Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is why do people sometimes hesitate to stand up for what they believe is right?
And plus, sometimes there's just fear of the unknown or not knowing if their actions will really make a difference. But even though it's hard, that courage can really spark change over time.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is describe a station where standing up for what is right, square, great questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine a situation where you see someone being treated unfairly, maybe at work or in a community space or even in a public protest. Standing up for what's right in that moment could mean speaking out, calling out injustice, or offering support to the person affected. It's about using your voice and your presence to shift the balance toward fairness.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is how can personal values influence someone describes to defend what is right?
Yeah, that's a really powerful connection. Personal values are kind of like your internal compass. They give you that deep sense of what's fair, just, and important. So when you really believe something aligns with your values, like equality, honesty, or compassion, it gives you that drive to keep going even when it's tough. Basically, it's like a fire inside that pushes you to defend what you know is right.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is in what ways can fear prevent people from speaking out against?
Yeah, fear can be a huge barrier. I mean, people might worry about personal risks like losing their job, facing harassment, or even endangering their safety. Sometimes fear of isolation or being judged by peers keeps people quiet. It kind of freezes them even if they know something is wrong. So, overcoming that fear, often through community support, can really help people find their voice.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is why is moral courage as important as physical courage?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, moral courage is vital because it pushes people to do what's right, even when there's no immediate reward or even when it's risky. Physical courage is crucial in dangerous situations, but moral courage, standing up for truth or fairness, can reshape society. So both are important, but moral courage often sustains long term change.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is how does parents develop the confidence to defend their beliefs?
Yeah, so prevention builds confidence by starting small, speaking up in less risky moments, practicing assertiveness, and surrounding yourself with supportive people. And as you see that your voice matters, when you notice positive impacts from your actions, you gradually trust yourself more. So it's a process. Each step reinforces that inner strength.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is what does role honesty play in standing up for what is right?
Yeah, that's a big one. Role models are super important because they show us what's possible. They give us examples of people who have stood up before us, even when it was hard. By seeing them succeed, or even just by seeing them try, it inspires us to act. It kind of normalizes that standing up for what's right is not only possible, but also worthwhile.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is how can individuals balance kindness and fairness when developed? their principle.
Yeah, that's a really delicate balance. Kindness helps you stay compassionate and open so you don't shut people out, but firmness ensures you don't compromise on your core values. It's about being empathetic but clear, expressing respect for others while also sticking to what you know is right. And that balance takes practice. Being kind but not letting go of your convictions.
Okay, so everybody, nice answer. So my next question is, why do some people choose to say silence even when they know some things is wrong?
Yeah, that's really common. Often people stay silent out of fear of consequences, fear of being judged, or even just fear of being powerless. Sometimes they think their voice won't make a difference, or they just don't know how to start. So breaking that silence usually takes a bit of courage, but also a sense that they're not alone, that there's a bigger community backing them.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, why is it important for choice to speak up against unfair treatment in today?
Yeah, it's so important because silence can let injustice continue. And when people speak up, it sets a standard. It says this is not okay. It gives others permission to join in, it pressures systems to change, and it reminds everyone that we all have a role in creating a fairer world.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can standing up for what's right help create a fairer community?
Yeah, that's a great point. When people stand up for what's right, they set a precedent. Others see that justice is possible, and that creates trust. It encourages more people to speak up, and over time, that collective action reshapes norms, so the community becomes safer, more inclusive, and more just for everyone.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, what response do young people have in promotion justice?
Yeah, young people have a huge advantage because they bring fresh perspectives. They're really in tune with social media and global networks, and they often have this idealism that pushes them to dream bigger. They can mobilize fast, inspire others, and really challenge outdated systems, which is a huge force for change.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can parents prevent influence personal violence to define what right?
Yeah, that's a great strategy. When people really connect their actions to their core values like fairness, compassion, or integrity, they feel a deeper sense of purpose. So they don't just act impulsively, they stay true to those guiding principles even when it's tough. That gives them a steady foundation to keep pushing for what's right.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, why is it some things difficult to oppose the majesty of Yan?
Yeah, that's a really tough challenge because, when the majority supports something, it can feel like you're swimming against a massive tide. People might fear being isolated or dismissed, or they might worry their perspective won't be heard. But it's often those smaller, courageous voices that over time help shift the conversation, even when it feels hard.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can communities support and develop who will take a stand for justice?
Yeah, communities can be really powerful here. They can offer emotional support, practical resources, and a sense of solidarity. When people know they have a group behind them, whether that's through public demonstrations, online networks, or just people who listen, they feel safer and more empowered to keep going, even when it gets tough.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can standing up for other stand social unity?
Yeah, that's a great point. When you stand up for others, it shows that you value everyone's dignity and rights, and that creates a sense of shared purpose. People feel less isolated, and they see that standing up isn't just about them, it's a collective effort. So it
Okay,
kind of knits
ChatGPT.
people together.
Next answer for my next question is, why should people defend the right of those who cannot defend themselves?
Yeah, that's so important because often those who can't speak up are the most vulnerable, whether it's because of their age, their status, or simply because they're marginalized. Defending their rights is about ensuring justice applies to everyone, not just the loudest voices. And when we do that, we create a more just and compassionate world for everyone.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can education encourage people to act with integrity?
Yeah, education is really key because it opens people's eyes to different perspectives and the bigger picture. When people understand history, social dynamics, and their own power, they feel more equipped to take action. Plus, education builds critical thinking, so people can see through injustice and find effective ways to respond.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is how can I student support classes who is being treated unfairly?
Yeah, that's a really powerful thing. Students can offer direct support by listening, standing up alongside them, or even just creating a safe space in class. They can also report the unfair treatment to teachers or school staff, or even organise awareness campaigns. Just knowing they have their peer support can make a big difference.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is how can teachers encourage student to defend fairness and honesty?
Yeah, teachers play such a crucial role. They can model fairness themselves, create open discussions about ethics, and encourage students to reflect on their values. They can praise acts of honesty, even small ones, and give students a framework to handle dilemmas. So, by creating a culture of integrity, they help students internalize those values.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is how can student leader promote fairness among their fairness?
Yeah, student leaders can have a big impact by setting the tone themselves, being transparent, listening to different voices, and making sure everyone gets a fair chance to participate. They can organise forums, advocate for inclusive policies, and just lead by example, showing that fairness is a priority in every decision they make.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question, what lesson can student learn from different someone who is being building?
Yeah, that's a really powerful lesson. Students can learn empathy, understanding what others are going through, and also resilience, seeing how someone stays true to themselves despite difficulties. They also see the importance of speaking out, which can inspire them to confront unfairness themselves with courage and compassion.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is how can the a role model influence other to defend what is right?
Yeah, a role model really sets a living example. When others see them consistently standing up for what's right, whether it's through small everyday actions or big public stances, it kind of gives permission for others to do the same. They inspire trust, they give hope, and they show that standing up for fairness is not only possible, but truly worthwhile.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is why are strong leader from others those who stand up for justice?
Yeah, that's a really key difference. Strong leaders often have a clear vision, a sense of purpose, and the courage to take risks, even when it's uncomfortable. They don't just react to injustice, they anticipate it and work toward change. By standing up, they show others what's possible, and they kind of give everyone else a push toward justice.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is what qualities makes a person brave enough to challenge injustice? ChatGPT, can you hear me? Hello, ChatGPT, can you hear me? ChatGPT, please repeat your answer. Hello, ChatGPT, can you hear me? ChatGPT, can you hear me? Yes, network issues. Hello, ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, okay, how can leaders inspire people to make ethical action?
By clearly articulating a shared vision, living out those values themselves, and by creating a culture where doing the right thing is celebrated. They also provide practical guidance, helping people see how ethical choices fit into their daily actions so that it feels achievable and meaningful.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can a leader handle compromised when defend just
Yeah, that's really tough, but a leader can handle it by staying calm and consistent, sticking to the facts and being transparent about their actions. It also helps to actively listen to those who are upset, show empathy, and explain how decisions are rooted in fairness. By keeping communication open and staying true to their values, they can rebuild trust over time.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, why should leaders promote fairness over popularity?
Yeah, that's really crucial because fairness is what builds long term trust and integrity. If leaders prioritize popularity, they risk making short term decisions that might be unjust. But when they stand firm on fairness, even if it's unpopular, they create a foundation for a more just, stable, and respected leadership in the long run.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can still fingers inspire us to stand up for what is right today?
Yeah, that's a really important role for teachers. They can inspire students by connecting lessons to real world justice issues, modeling courage in their own actions, and creating a classroom culture where every voice matters. When students see that, they realize they have the power to make a difference too, and they feel more confident standing up for what's right.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how does leadership square responsibility for promoting others?
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership really carries a responsibility because leaders set the tone for how others are treated and how fairness is upheld. They have to actively foster an environment where everyone feels valued, heard, and empowered. By taking responsibility, they make sure that the whole group, not just themselves, is advancing toward justice and equality.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. So my next question is, what should a person do when telling the truth may cause problem for themex?
Yeah, that's really important. When telling the truth, a person should focus on being clear, calm, and specific, focusing on facts, not accusations. It's important to express care, explain the impact, and offer support so the person feels heard and safe, not attacked. That way, the truth can be a starting point for real problem solving and change.
Okay, ChatGPT. So my next question is, how can someone decide to the right course of action in the difficult moral decision?
Yeah, that's a really tough one. It often helps to slow down and reflect on your values. What kind of person do you want to be? You can also consider the long term consequences, seek advice from trusted people, and think about whether your action aligns with fairness and compassion. That process takes courage, but it helps you choose the right path.
Okay, ChatGPT. Nice answer. So my next question is, why might doing the right things sometimes feel honesty?
Yeah, that's a really human experience. Doing the right thing can feel lonely or isolating because you might be going against the crowd, facing criticism, or even risking something personally. But even though it's hard, it's often that discomfort that means you're staying true to your principles, which is really powerful in the long run.
Okay, ChatGPT. Nice answer. So my next question is, describe a time when someone you know stood up for what was right.
Yeah, I remember a colleague from a previous job who stood up against unfair treatment in our workplace. There was a situation where a team member was being overlooked for promotion despite excellent work, and she calmly but firmly raised the issue in a team meeting. She advocated for fairness, backed it up with evidence, and in the end, the leadership revisited their decision. It was really inspiring to see her do that, even though it was risky.
Okay, ChatGPT. Nice answer. So my next question is, what lesson can people learn from whiteness at moral courage?
Yeah, that's a really important lesson. People can learn that even though silence might feel easier, it often allows injustice to grow. Moral courage teaches us that standing up, even when we're afraid, is what brings real change. It reminds us that our actions, even small ones, can inspire others and shape a more just world.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can social media be used to promote justice and fairness?
Yeah, social media is such a powerful tool. It can amplify voices that might otherwise be ignored, spread awareness quickly across the globe, and hold people or institutions accountable. It also helps people connect, organize, and mobilize movements. So when used thoughtfully, it's a huge force for justice and fairness.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, what danger might arise when people must social media while defending cases?
Yeah, that's a really important caution. When people use social media, there's a risk of miscommunication, oversimplification, or even retaliation. False narratives can spread quickly, and sometimes people can be targeted or misunderstood. So it's crucial to be careful, fact check, and be mindful of privacy and safety when you speak out online.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, why is it important to support whiteness who reveal wrongdoing?
Yeah, it's really important because whistleblowers often take huge personal risks to expose the truth. By supporting them, we show that honesty matters, that accountability matters, and that we stand against corruption and injustice. It helps create a culture where people feel safer to speak up, and that's how real change starts.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, why is premised important when fightness for just cases?
Yeah, persistence is crucial because change often takes time. You might face setbacks, opposition, or slow progress, but staying committed keeps the cause alive. Persistence shows others that you're not giving up, and it keeps the spotlight on the injustice until real lasting change happens.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, how do family values incidents a person sense of right or wrong?
Yeah, family values can be really foundational. They shape a person's early sense of what's fair, kind, or just. When those values emphasize respect, honesty, and responsibility, they help anchor a person's moral compass, giving them a strong foundation to do what's right, even when it's tough.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, why, what role do religion or ethical teaching play in guiding people to do what is right?
Yeah, that's a big influence. Religious or ethical teachings often provide a deeper framework, guiding people to reflect on compassion, justice, and integrity. They can offer a sense of purpose, helping individuals distinguish right from wrong, especially in complex situations. So those teachings often serve as a moral anchor in people's lives.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, what role schools introduce moral education into everyone learning?
Yeah, schools play a huge role because they're where kids form a lot of their early moral frameworks. By integrating moral education, teaching things like empathy, fairness, and responsibility, they help students build a strong moral compass. This in turn shapes them into more thoughtful, just, and engaged citizens as they grow.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, why is standing up for women and right important in the modern world?
Yeah, it's really vital because women have historically been marginalised, and their rights are still often overlooked. When we stand up for women's rights, we promote equality, fairness, and human dignity. In a modern world, everyone benefits when women have equal rights. Our societies are stronger, more innovative, and more just when everyone is included.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, what challenges do activate face when fighting for justice international?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Justice often requires both systemic and cultural changes, things like new laws, better representation, and shifts in public attitudes. Activists might push for legislative reform, improved education, or new cultural norms. So, by addressing both structures and hearts and minds, lasting justice can really take place.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, how can standing up for what right shape a personal identity?
Yeah, that's really powerful. When you stand up for what's right, you clarify your own values and who you want to be. It gives you a sense of purpose and alignment, so your actions and your identity start to mirror each other. Over time, that courage and consistency help you feel more confident in yourself and your place in the world.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. So my next question is, what emotional might someone feels after defendants justice?
Yeah, it can be really mixed. After standing up for justice, someone might feel a deep sense of relief or pride, but also exhaustion, anxiety, or even fear about what comes next. It's really natural to feel a mix of emotions. There's pride in doing the right thing, but also a need to process the stress and uncertainty of standing up in the first place.
Okay, ChatGPT, my last question is, what habit help people stay committed to their values?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Habits like regular self reflection, staying informed, and surrounding yourself with a supportive community really help. Also, setting small, consistent goals, like speaking out in little ways, builds confidence. Over time, those habits reinforce your commitment, so you stay true to your values.
Okay, ChatGPT. So, viewers, this was a new ChatGPT. So, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad.